Where would we be without geography? Without maps, we wouldn't even know where we were. Geography matters. Geography matters in our everyday lives. It affects the schools that we went to, the first language that we speak, who our neighbours are, our daily commute to work, our health, and of course the health of our world. Geography impacts on almost everything. You've probably all already used some kind of geographical or spatial data. We all use maps to find out where we're going. Nowadays we tend to use our phones to look up places on the maps. So spatial data are data that have a locational component. They're connected to some place on the earth. We use it to map restaurants, roads, routes to new places we're visiting, countries, populations, weather, and even just to get your kicks on Route 66. Maps are everywhere you look. They help us learn about our world. But what if you go beyond mapping and start to analyse it? Then you can discover even more. You can make the data work for you and give you information. You get to go beyond where things are and start to ask much deeper questions. Why are things there? Where things should be? This is spatial analysis. You can look at global issues such as climate change, see who's at risk from flooding, examine the spatial distribution of a nation's population and their natural resources. Or you can look at more local scales, find out what are the best evacuation routes, best places to site businesses or housing, see who's at risk of an avalanches, see how much green space there is within a city. Now some of you may have already done some spatial analysis already. For some of you, you might remember that very well. Whilst others of you, you may not even realise that you've actually done some spatial analysis. Do you remember when I talked about looking up addresses using your smartphones? Well, that's actually using geocoding. So that's finding geographic coordinates from other geographic information, such as street addresses or the city. So geocoding is a relatively simple kind of spatial analysis. In this MOOC, we're going to explore how spatial analysis can be useful and show the added values that it brings. If it happens on the Earth, then the geography of your data matters. Spatial analysis is valuable if the spatial component is important to the problem. That could be either in terms of the location or in terms of the location relative to other features within your data. So space ranges in scale, goes from the cosmos to the subatomic. But in this course, when I talk about spatial, I'm talking about the special kind of geospatial that refers to places on the Earth's surface at human scale. Using spatial data, you can model real-world systems and interactions. The world's inherently complex, but by modelling and analysing the fundamental things that you're interested in your analysis, you can learn something about the whole system that may have been lost previously in the complexity. So spatial analysis can be simple or complex, but the advantages that analysis brings you are enormous. You can take multiple data sets gathered from many different sources and you can analyse them together. You can better understand what's happening, where it's happening, and even possibly why it's happening. There are so many things that we don't already understand about our world. We're still learning how climate impacts on health, how we're impacting on the climate. And imagine this, 95% of the underwater world still remains unexplored. Using spatial analysis, we can explore, model, and visualize our world.